Every day that we wake up, we have two choices. We either let life control us or we take control of our lives. You're never gonna get rid of adversity. There's always gonna be adversity in life. Everything that happened throughout my life, from the life in an orphanage of poverty to grow a company from being homeless to selling it with Garden Fresh for $231 million and traveling around the world and sharing this mindset with so many people. The biggest lesson that I learned is this: you must become bigger than yourself. How is that possible? It's mindset.
Magie Cook!
When you talk about working for something that you truly care about, there's always three character traits present: resilience, resourcefulness, and relentlessness. These are the three pillars of the success mindset. When I started my salsa business, I made a long list of stores to call, and I got 90 rejections, and nobody knew what fresh salsa was, especially in West Virginia. My friends told me that I should quit, that I should get a job, but I knew I had something special, so I kept moving forward. The biggest supermarket was on the top of my list, and I was like, go big or go home. And I called the Whole Foods Market because they were the largest organic retailer in the United States. And I said, hey, my name is Maria Magdalena de la Cruz Garcia. I have an awesome pico de gallo de salsa. I think you guys would love it. Clink. The next day they called me and they said, we want to know more about you. When can you come? Went to the kitchen, made salsa, drove like 8 hours to Maryland from West Virginia. At that time, I was making about 250 pounds of salsa. Their first order was 10,000 pounds of salsa. And that was just Whole Foods. The ability to be resilient is so important, and one of the characteristics of a resilient mind is self-belief. Do you believe in yourself enough? Do you believe in your products and services? When you believe in yourselves, other people start believing in you too. When I was growing up in the orphanage, I saw so much suffering. I remember I looked up to the skies and I said, I'm going to be something bigger than myself, so that I can come out of this place and become an inspiration for other people, and maybe perhaps being able to help and make a difference. The lack of resources, money, everything that I had, I realized that all the resources that I had were within me. It was the creativity, the passion, the wanting to stick to it and to no matter what.
One of the most unbelievable stories I've ever heard.
That was just so powerful. She has a natural ability, just the way she is, to be an influencer in the most passionate of ways, and she's just so authentic.
Why do you care about being resilient, resourceful, and relentless? The answer is in the why. I had to go to the Small Business Administration and I asked them, hey, I need help. I need 20 employees to help me. The next day, they had exactly 20 people for me. And I called the state and I said, hey, you sent me someone from prison. And they said, oh yeah, they're all from prison. But they were the best working people I ever had. Why were they the best working people I ever had? Because I brought them to my greater why. It's about becoming and doing something bigger than yourself. Mark Twain said that the two most important days of your life is the day that you were born and the day that you find out why. So one of the questions that I have for you is, how much do you care about your clients? If you were to cheer for your clients today, what would that look like? Ready, set, go. I want you to remember to look in your mirror every single morning when you wake up and have the names of the people that you're serving and cheer for them. And ask yourself, are they really part of my family? How can I inspire them to believe in me? The moment that you believe that you have a limit to what you do, you become that limit. The moment you believe you can do more, you become that more. All right, so do me a favor. Close your eyes where you are. I want you to take a deep, deep breath in, all the way in as high as you can. Hold it, release. Let's do it a couple more times. In, release. One more time, as high as you can. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Release. How do you feel? Awesome. Thank you for having me here today. I wanted to start by saying that you are the architect of your life. And this time and space is your stage. And no matter how strong your purpose is, you're always going to have some kind of adversity. But you have to keep moving forward no matter what the circumstances are. Earlier this year, I was asked to speak at an event in Atlanta for a Latina conference, and I said, yes. But then they said, you have to give your talk in Spanish, and I was like, oop. And so I got scared because if you know my story, I came from the orphanage in the mountains of Mexico to America, and my Spanish is very country Mexican Spanish. And so I said, okay, I'll do it. I'm going to practice. I'm going to make this happen. So I remember arriving to the conference, and when I walked on the stage in Spanish, I said, I am so excited to see you guys today. But in Spanish, I said, estoy muy excitada de estar con ustedes. I hear we have some Latinas in the room. What I really said was, I am so sexually aroused to see you. I had to Google it. I'm going to talk today about 3 concepts in terms of clarity, focus, and vision. And those are, number 1, lights, camera, and action. This is the same mindset that I applied from, coming from an orphanage in Mexico, overcoming poverty, to becoming a professional basketball player, to starting a fresh salsa company that sold to Campbells for $231 million, to eventually starting a keynote speaking business that now I get to travel and I be here with you guys today. So I'm going to talk about these concepts, but first, I want to talk about your mind. See, every day when we wake up, we all have 2 choices. We either let life control us, or we take control of our lives. The biggest thing that I've realized is that the more you take control of your life, the more joy you experience. But when you let life control you, you experience more pain, more suffering. This is why it's so important to remember to practice a routine that primes your mind for success. What is the first thing that you do when you wake up in the mornings? I really, truly want to ask you that. Do you pick up your phone immediately? Do you turn on the TV? What are you doing? If not, let's start today. The first thing that I do when I wake up in the mornings is, and I program my subconscious mind to wake up and say an incantation. Do you guys want to hear it? Yes? All right. The wealth of the universe is pouring into my life. Its wealth flows through me in cosmic waves of abundance. All my needs, desires, and goals are manifested instantaneously by infinite conscious mind. I am one with everything, and everything is one with me. What happens after that could be many different things that I do for biohacking. But it could be as simple as a walk. As simple as some affirmations, as simple as whatever it is, because every person is different. In 2005, in their psychological research, the National Science Foundation took hundreds of thousands of people, and they studied them. And they said that the average person thinks between 12 and 60,000 thoughts per day. They said out of those, 80% are negative. And they said out of those, 90 to 95% are the same exact repetitive thoughts as the day before. This is what I'm talking about, how important it is to Have a routine that primes your mind for success. This is what's really given me success in life. Now, I want to talk about something that's been an amazing, tremendous success in my life that I want to share with you guys, and that is life force energy. And guys, this is so simple, yet we don't do it. If you did this for 30 days, your life would completely change. You would start getting more aligned with your purpose. Your energy, your vitality would go high. And these consist of 3 different things. Now, number 1, what you put in your mouth, what you eat. Number 2, how much sleep you get. But most importantly, the quality of sleep that you get. And number 3, exercise. There's a really powerful quote that I love by Lao Tzu where he says that if you can correct your mind, everything else will fall into place. Now let's talk about the concept of lights. Lights represent shining clarity into your purpose. So my biggest question to you today is, why do you do what you do? I really want you to think about that. Why do you do what you do? If you don't know your why, how do you discover it? Or how do you rediscover it? The biggest thing that I can tell you is that you have to set time and space to have clarity of mind and take inventory of your life. Find out where you were the most happiest. What are the things that you do that if you did today, you could do for free because you love it so much? The truth is that the subconscious mind is always guiding you to your purpose, like a GPS. But even if you get off of track, it's always guiding you, but we don't listen. We don't listen. That's when a big discovery or rediscovery happens. Your why, if you have a strong enough why, you can deal with any why and what and how. That's how powerful a strong enough why is, because your why is about becoming and doing something bigger than yourself, because your purpose is you. When I started my salsa company and I was into the second week of making product, and I realized that me and another person were making salsa, cutting 60,000 tomatoes. and I decided, okay, we need to hire people, and I didn't know anything about hiring people, so I went to the Small Business Administration and I asked, hey, can you help me find 20 people? Because I realized that's exactly what we needed. And they said, oh, we don't know anything about that. Go to the state, they're going to help you. And I went to the state and I said, hey, same question. And they said, no problem, we'll have 20 people for you tomorrow. I'm like, okay, that's so awesome. All right. So I was really excited. And I remember there were mostly men, taking this group of men into this room. And I sat them down. And the first thing I did when I came in the room and I said, hey guys, my name is Magie. Look, we have a fresh pico de gallo de salsa. You guys know who Whole Foods is? They want it. They want it. They want this product. And I believe that you guys are going to help me make it the largest salsa company in the United States. You guys are going to help me take it there. And they're like, yes, yeah. So we started production. I took them to work. And every day in production, we would take breaks at lunch and I would buy them food and we would sit outside in our little conference area in the rocks and the dirt. And we would always think about how we can make production better. And it was so exciting, so much fun. The culture was amazing. And one of these times, we finished the meeting and everybody went in. And there's this African-American guy that stayed behind. And I went to him and I said, hey, are you okay? Can I help you with anything? He's like, no, Maggie, I just wanted to tell you that nobody would hire me. I just came out of prison. And I did this, and that. And I was like, la, 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 la. I said, listen, I don't know, I don't want to know anything. I said, you're so awesome. Let's just go back to work. And I went to the other room and I grabbed my phone and I was like, started shaking. And so I went outside and I called the state and I said, hey, you gave me 20 people from prison, or you gave me a person from prison. And they're like, oh yeah, they're all from prison. I gave them knives. But it's about becoming and doing something bigger. I married them into my why. That's why they were so passionate and so amazing. This is why it's so important to be so aligned with your why as a leader, as a culture, as a company, and it can change everything. My why was to prove my father wrong, because he told me that I would never amount to anything, that I would die in prison and with AIDS. Exactly his words. And it was to prove him wrong. And he never recognized my success until a week before he passed. He wrote me a letter. Would you guys like me to read it to you? Yeah. No. Somebody said no. This letter right here. He said, Magie, I am so proud of you. You won't know what I mean, but you're from the old school, from the old generation, maybe 50 years back, the generation that had the work ethic, discipline, and most of all, a dream and willingness to labor and make that dream a reality. You're so caught up in what you're doing at this moment that you can't fathom where you'll be in 5, in 15, and 25. Because of your willingness, it's going to be big. America needs more people like you and your values passed down. It is to survive. You are one big asset to everyone in your life, sweetheart. I'm really proud of you. My why was based on fear. Never be on purpose based on fear. It's only going to block you and stop you from success. That's the big thing that I experienced. Then I discovered rediscoveries. And my biggest rediscovery was that I knew that salsa was just a stepping stone to something bigger. Mark Twain said that the two most important days of your life is the day that you were born and the day that you find out why. I really want you to think about your whys today. So important. Now let's talk about the concept of camera. Camera represents the clarity of focus of what you want to achieve. It really focuses on where you are and to where you want to be. When I was growing up in the orphanage, I remember that I used to see myself as a super successful woman with heels, with long hair, dressed up really nicely, even though I hadn't seen anything outside the barbed wire fence. It was rough. I used to be a hunter to hunt for food. We hunted with our hands. This is my original knife that I used to hunt with. The cave that you saw in the video was my secret hiding place where I would meditate. It's really powerful how I was able to live and grow and be, but just using my mind to do something really amazing and powerful. Now I want to talk about a character trait that is really powerful with this concept, and it's called intentional practice. There's a research scientist by the name of Alan Richardson, and he took a group of basketball players and he divided them into 3 groups. And he tested their ability to shoot free throws. And the first group, he had them practice for 20 minutes per day. The second group, he had them just practice with their mind. In the third group, he didn't have them do any physical or mental practice. And the results were pretty incredible. The third group he found were really terrible because they didn't practice. And the second group he found, they were as good or better than the group that actually physically practiced, the group that practiced with their mind. And that really boggled my mind, because ever since I can remember, I used to use my mind to practice what the outcome would be before playing a game or before that business deal. And I found tremendous serendipitous correlations when they actually happen in real time. And that is how I applied focus to life and in business and in sports. Another character trait with this concept is inner creativity and innovation that I want to talk about today. And that is something that I hardly ever talk about, but I would like to share with you today. And that is stepping into an attractive character. Remember how I told you how I saw myself in the orphanage? There's a story in my book that talks about it in depth, about all the things that I've done in the past, but what I wanted to talk about before, so we don't run out of time, is that I want to talk about who I stepped into now. And it's really helped me with stage, because I have a lot of stage fright, believe me. I do. And the person that I step into now is called Magnetic Maya Vic. And it's a combination of Maya Angelou, because I love her character traits, and also Queen Victoria, because she is royalty, but she also really cared about people. And when you step into an attractive character, it's really powerful. I realize that a lot of celebrities do this. Have you ever Beyonce does Sasha Fierce, right? Another one is Norma Jean. You guys know Norma Jean? Marilyn Monroe. She was able to turn it on, and everybody would flock her, and she actually took a group of people down in downtown, I think it was Tennessee, and says, watch, I'm going to turn it on, and everybody's going to just run and flock to me, and that's exactly what happened. Another one that I really love is Sasha Fierce. That's Adele. She used to be so nervous, she would run out of stage. And then she found out about Sasha Fierce and from Beyonce, and she incremented Sasha Carter. She did June Carter and Sasha Fierce into that. Does that make sense? So stepping into an attractive character is so, so powerful. The other thing that I want to talk about is totems. Now, a lot of people use them, and I'm using one now, today. And so this is my ring. So what I want to talk about a totem is that this ring was given to me by one of the ancient Babalaos in one of the ancient tribes in Mexico, because he saw what I was doing to rescue children from human sex trafficking. He says, every time you go on a stage, you got to wear this. And so this helps me step into Magnetic Maya Vic. And I want to talk about one of my favorite friends, that he's a national rodeo champion. And anytime he gets out of character, he uses his glove and takes it off and puts it back on again. There's a really powerful figure, too, that used to do this, MLK, Martin Luther King. Did you know that he used to wear glasses when he wrote his speeches? He did this because he would feel more prestigious doing this, more important, more powerful. So think about your totems. My question to you is, how does this help you? So anytime you're in a situation that you feel like you need to be and do something bigger than yourself, who can you step into? No matter what circumstance you have, no matter what challenge you have, who can you step into? Does that make sense?